what we always see. It's what everyone loves, and it feels like a great test of two duelists. And here we are on that test. We're on Spart1e to begin with as he picks up the LG and darts straight over towards that Mega. You can see him pausing at the start to try to work out where his opponent has spawned. And he's got a great position now. In fact, if he just maintains position here, he can do a lot of damage and not receive much in turn. He's going to go jump down. Quite a bit of damage there. Caught onto Pavel. Pavel going to go straight onto this red armor here through that choke point, and Spart1e not quite ready for it. Actually, Pavel working his way onto that red armor, and Spart1e actually really low right now, 29 points of health. Really, really low. 8 now, 25 picked up, 33 now, so it's going to be okay, but still, Pavel, great start there, going to be able to surely take this Mega. Oh my god, actually Spart1e manages to pick it up, but gets rocketed there as he does so. Picks up the yellow too, so he's in a lot of trouble. But so is Pavel, taking a lot of damage as well in that series of skirmishes there between these two players. And this, oh my goodness, it's not ever going to end, this battle between these two guys. It's just constantly going for the last 30 seconds. Finally it calms down. Pavel's had enough, and so has Spart1e, but that was...
Yeah.
crazy.
I don't really know what Spart1e thought he was doing going for that Mega through the top choke point. I mean, he did. He was really low, and I think maybe MG would have been better from Pavel, but he actually has managed to pull it off, so can't really knock it too much. And he won't be able to get the Mega, but he will be able to get the red, so he's in a much better position than what he was after the initial fights. So it's important that he manages to stop Pavel from getting the railgun, which he doesn't currently have. So he's in that room right now, which is perfect positioning. So as long as he doesn't lose out on this next red, he's going to be in a good position.
Can hear his opponent taking that armor below, so res coming up soon. Spart1e, does he stay up high, dealing damage, and eventually fall back onto the Mega, which is quite far away, and there'll be enough time for Pavel to get over there after this red pickup, so it's not the best option maybe. Maybe he shouldn't drop down, but there is Pavel on that Mega area, and Spart1e's trying to work his way on it as well. This is a huge point of contention here. Great LG coming out, but the rail in return just gave him the window to grab that Mega, but the fight still rages on here. Lightning guns blazing between both players, Spart1e and Pavel. Wow, brilliant rail there from Spart1e. That flick, amazing. That was such an awesome fight there between the two players. I mean, Spart1e just saving himself with that one rail, had to hit it to get the Mega, and then, yeah, a very, very awesome fight there.
Yeah, it was a good fight. I don't think that Kook really expected Spart1e to sort of attack like what he did. And then it's good for Kook here that if he can maybe get a little bit more LG damage and then get to red, so then he'll let Spart1e have Mega. Oh, he's actually ran out of ammo, which is unfortunate. So now he's probably... Oh, nice rocket. But he's probably not going to be able to get anything, especially now that he's been railed. So we'll see if Spart1e wants to charge the Mega, which is exactly what he has done. And unluckily for Kook, he probably should have used his rocket launcher as like an attacking weapon rather than trying to get himself to the Mega, because Spart1e didn't know that he had that, so he could maybe drop down and maybe gone for a real risky attack, but it might have pulled off. But we'll see what happens from now. With red coming up in a sec, I'd say Spart1e will drop on it. And he does.
And there it is, a quick pickup, and he's really, really healthy. Snacks like a tank, 3-0, and this map is really important because I think Spart1e's... Oh, he's going to catch Kook there with some damage. I'm just going to start calling him Kook, I guess that's what he wants to be called, and Spart1e has the Mega secured. And yeah, this map is really important because I think Sinister is much, much more likely for Spart1e to win than Pavel's potential, than the third map for Pavel. So it's a really, really significant thing if Spart1e was able to take this from Pavel. And he's going to be able to put on a lot more damage soon onto Pavel if he can just get to grips with him. He's got to try to find a close range engagement, but that's exactly what Pavel's going to be wary of to try to avoid. He knows that that's not favorable for him. And Spart1e's going to be able to make his way over to Mega now. And there he finds Kook right there. And makes his way through that choke point. And here he goes, dropping down, trying to get that fight, but evading is Kook there. So good work from him, but Spart1e is not going to relent just yet, trying to constantly pressure, still leaving the Mega up. He doesn't have time to get to the red now. I mean, is that a mistake?
It's not exactly a mistake because he didn't really have a choice if he went for damage above the YA. And it was actually, I actually like doing what Spart1e did because he managed to deny rail, which is obviously really important considering that Pavel actually hasn't had rail this entire game. He's going to be able to get it now, but this is probably the first time that he's got it, and he's actually taken a rail for it, which I think was kind of not really a great move by Spart1e. The second one was okay, not really ideal as well, because if Pavel was sort of watching, he could have really bounced him around with rockets or something like that. But it did work out, and Spart1e managed to hit a few rails. And again, he's using his rail gun advantage again, which is really important. But I don't like leaving leaving red. But he has managed to hit 2 rails, so it's definitely worth it now. And denied the 50 bubble, which is clever. So he should be able to go and get the yellow armor, and then perhaps do damage on the other yellow, which is probably what he's going to set up to do.
Yeah, Spart1e putting in some great work here. He's already setting himself up for another frag, denying the health, making kook have to slow the game down massively to have any opportunity to get back into this. And he's going to get caught on top of the pillar. Spart1e, though, has to hit the shots there, and actually he's going to miss both shots, giving... Oh, there's finally a rail connected. Giving kook not only the chance to get that red, but some damage as well. So kook could go push onto the Mega. That's exactly what he's going to do. So Spart1e has the option to jump across, and he does so at the risk of this lightning gun. Kook does so much damage there. 1 rail shot left, and he connects it. Picks up the yellow as well, and still kook is without that rail gun. You know, he lost it after he died last, and has not yet picked it up, I don't think. Yeah, he doesn't have it, and he's on the red armor, but look at that. Spart1e did enough damage. He knew that kook was on his last legs and just finished him off there quite easily. So Spart1e in a really fantastic position now after that one, I gotta say.
Yeah, that was a good move by Spart1e to sort of wait till the last second to move in for the red, because he was obviously timing it quite well. So as long as he kills kook here, which he has with a nice opening rocket, he should grab this yellow and then go to top of the rail, which is... I would have preferred maybe to go to the top of the rail, just in case he was going for rail, and then go down to the red from there. But it has actually worked out perfectly in the fact that he hit a good opening rocket. So maybe grab the yellow and then go for damage on the other yellow. But he's actually just pushed in first, which maybe this might not be ideal. But he has managed to make it work. As long as he goes for damage on this other yellow now, this is going to be really difficult for Pavel to really get back in. And he's done this perfectly. Probably just go red now.
Kook gonna go for it, and Spart1e reads it brilliantly there. Can he get the shots though? Looking for the angle, hits 1, misses the second, but that was enough to hit that one. I mean, he's got the Mega to fall back onto. But instead, oh, beautiful there. He doesn't go for it, and it's to be careful though that he doesn't lose it and let Kook get positioning on it. And actually, that's exactly what happens. That was quite well played by Kook.
Yeah, this is where the mistake from Spart1e really sort of is to drop down there. I mean, he could have just stayed up and gone for another rail, and that's free, you know. Nothing can go wrong. Whereas doing that, it's always a risk in dropping down and attacking there, and it did work out quite poorly for him. So now, well, I think Pavel thinks that the red armor's coming up and he's just been taken. But yeah, so Spart1e did let Pavel back in by dropping down, where it could have worked and it could have got the kill, but it definitely also, as we saw, had some could have turned bad as well.
Yeah, definitely. It seemed that Spart1e had taken some risk, but I mean, he was really hitting. You can see he's very confident with his aim as well to really save him and get him out of any troubling spots. I think that's like a lot of as some of the players who kind of not necessarily rely on their aim, but definitely it's a huge focus in their game. They will just take decisions which even they might know is a little less than optimal, but they have that, oh, you know, it's feeling good right now kind of thing going on. So perhaps that's what was happening with Spart1e. Either way, though, he does take the first map, and that's going to be a huge boon to him in this series because, again, you know, with the Sinister coming up, I really think he's a massive favorite there, and I don't see Pavel having any kind of chance on... or at least
so that should be big for him. But also, I'd like to note that with you said with the aim thing, I think this is something that I like to say about Quake Live, and people who say players are like, you know, aimers and what have you, is if you don't hit any shots, you can't win. Whereas you can pick up all the items you want, and you still, if you don't hit any shots, you're not going to win. So it's like you have to hit shots to win. So hitting lots of shots is obviously a really positive way to actually be able to win. So.
Oh yeah, most certainly, yeah. And Spart1e has been one of the best at that sometimes when he really gets himself going. It's some
nice rails, that one, yep.
It's pretty scary.
Clutch rails.
Yeah, it's always awesome as well when you watch people like actually Spart1e actually when he's on form, or like Toxic, you know, people like this. You can when they actually hit the rails, you can see how consistent it is, the way that they aim, the kind of method that they have to shoot. You can actually kind of see it as they're doing it, that it looks really kind of methodical and consistent and very... It just, I don't know, it just works. I don't know what it is. I think you know what I mean. It's hard to explain exactly.
And also, rail is definitely the most annoying gun. For example, if you get hit with a couple of rails, nothing will piss you off quite as much. Whereas, you know, if you get beaten in a rocket fight or something, it can be annoying, but just being sniped from long distance when you don't have rail, and they do, there's nothing more annoying than that. It can sort of put you on tilt as well, so you can even force more mistakes if the players sort of I don't know. A real top player is not going to really be able to sort of get annoyed that much, but especially on LAN. But online, it can happen definitely.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's because you have to constantly change your plan. I mean, if your stack changes, your plan has to change. You keep taking 80 damage here or there, and it's like, oh, got to change my plan again. Oh, I can't do this thing I was about to do now,
Yeah.
or whatever. So that is actually really frustrating for sure.
Yep.
And so we had to switch servers because these guys wanted to split the servers. So we're on a Russian server now, and I guess there shouldn't be too much of a disparity in ping. But as you mentioned, maybe Pavel was a bit spiky there in Sweden. I guess he's from the provinces in Russia, so it's hard for him to get great ping in places. But they're pretty even now, and Spart1e and Pavel both have around 50-ish. So you know, I guess we'll see an interesting game on Sinister, but I think it's going to be one-sided. That's my prediction. But we'll see. We will see. Time will tell. Is there anything about this map that you would change?
No, I think it's pretty good right now. I think there's just a few little minor tweaks they could make. For example, I don't like the fact that the 50 bubble is where it is and the rocket launcher is where it is. The bottom 50 bubble and the rocket launcher. I think if they switch them around to be a little bit better, because I don't like the fact that you can kill them at mega and then you on your way to red you'll jump up to the 50 bubble and run that way, and they can spawn at the rocket launcher when you're down there. And I just think that's complete BS. You shouldn't just be able to spawn, have a rocket launcher, and have that as the gun of choice for that scenario. Like the maps, for example, like DM13 or especially if they're at
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
if they're out in the middle, the rocket launcher is not ideal. If they're in that the LG spot, the rocket launcher is not ideal, and especially with the rocket launcher on T7, both rocket launchers, they're not in ideal spots. Whereas I don't, for example, the LG as well. It's good to have LG there, but if in a close fight there, rockets is probably a little bit better. The rail is obviously in a real vulnerable position. Whereas on this map, I find that rocket launcher is in too strong a position. I don't know. It just might just be me, but I think maybe moving that with a 50 bubble so that if they want rocket launcher, they have to go and get it while you're coming up the stairs. So they're not going to be able to get there in time before you get there. But that's about it. Other than that, it's pretty good.
Nice. I like that idea actually. I haven't heard anyone talk about the weapon placement as much. So that's a really, really interesting take on it. And actually, the game's getting live. Spart1e and Kook, also known as Pavel. They're getting it underway on Sinister. This is the second map of this series. And here we are on Kook to begin with as he picks up that Mega. And he's going to see that the red is long gone. Perhaps he will find Spart1e soon, though, with that railgun. But, I mean, it's really risky. He does manage to connect one shot, but it's kind of risky just having a railgun. I mean, he can't get caught at really the close or medium ranges. And here is actually... We might just see that happen. Spart1e dropping in a bit scary, but Kook managing to actually fall back in time there and trying to catch Spart1e with some long-range shots. And that's if you don't hit the shots there, it's some time wasted. And Kook now doesn't have an LG. Big advantage for Spart1e. Mega's coming out. Spart1e jumps straight on it. That's going to be a huge victory for him. But I think Kook is actually managing it fairly well as far as not taking damage is concerned. If we just think about his position with the weapons. But oh my god, that rocket jump up! What was that?
Yeah, that was an interesting fight there. But the first fight was a little interesting as well, where sort of Kook Spart1e for some reason backed away from the Mega, and then Kook went in there, but he didn't take the Mega. He sort of just stood there and let Spart1e jump for it. I think both players sort of made a slight movement or slash can't even think about what the right word for it is, but there was a little mistake there. But other than that, Spart1e obviously played well, taking advantage of Pavel's bad play. And actually, someone's lagging. Maybe we can time out.
Yeah, looks like Spart1e is lagging here.
But yeah, Spart1e's in an optimal position right here. You know, 2 frags up, all the major guns. Kook's just off spawn, so if he spawns at LG, he'll be able to kill him. Probably because that's where he's going right now. If he spawns at the top yellow or around that area at the bottom rocket launcher, he's going to be in a bit of trouble as well. So this is really excellent for Spart1e.
Yeah, already 2-0 up. I mean, already connecting with some crazy shots as well. I mean, I saw some. He's hitting how many? Okay, he's hit 3 of 3 rails. So I mean, it's pretty good for him. But it's much better than the 1 of 5 that Pavel has shot, and that's something that can really get you down on a map like this. I mean, it's something that really also, I guess, says why Spart1e can be so good here, because his railing is really strong, and this map has a lot of wide open spaces. There's some elements of this map kind of remind me slightly of campgrounds, just a little bit, just the amount that you can kind of abuse rail in some spots, although I think you can abuse it more here than on campgrounds because there's so much more in the way of distance and vertical spaces. But at the moment, if that keeps going for Spart1e, I mean, how is Cook going to deal with that if Spart1e's just hitting a lot more L than him?
Well, I think the key to sort of, if you're playing against a guy who's hitting lots of shots, I mean, you're not really going to go into a game sort of thinking, all right, this guy's going to hit me with every shot, so I'm going to play differently. But if they sort of get on a bit of a roll, just don't really appear until sort of the item's about to spawn. So that worst case scenario, they can only hit you with one shot. Whereas if you come out a little bit too early, say the item's up in 5 seconds and you've got like 150 health, they rail you and now you're available, and then you still haven't got the item. Whereas if you wait like another 3 seconds and then come out, then you're gonna okay, they rail you, but you get the item as well. So it's not as bad, and especially then you can return some damage. Whereas if they rail you and you back off to where you actually just were, and then you have to come back out again, they're looking at that spot, so they're going to be able to rail you again easily. I'm not sure if Spart1e's ping's going to fix. And I'm
Yeah,
not sure what'll happen if that happens.
that is the case. I guess he's working on it, but yeah. So Spart1e, it would be a big shame if he managed to go out here because I mean I feel like it's kind of clear at the moment that he's got quite a big advantage in this series. Of course, he won the first map, and it's sinister, and he's already with a lead and looking really strong. So it'd be a shame that if he went out,
Yep.
but
Yeah, that would
lost.
be annoying. Nothing worse than lagging. It's better like this lag, though. I prefer this lag than that annoying, every 10 second, like a big jolt. Because then it's like, it's playable, but it's just annoying. Whereas with this, it's like, it's so bad that it's not annoying.
I don't know
if you
how
know what
it
I
works.
mean.
You have to run the logic through me. I don't really get that, but still, I mean, it
Yeah.
happened. It happened to Spotty quite a lot. I mean, the internet for a Swede, it doesn't make sense. I mean, surely they're supposed to have amazing internet. I don't really understand it. I think he's one of the only,
Yeah.
he's one of two Swedes that I know out of all my Swedish friends that have terrible internet. But actually, I'm not
Yep,
counting
well-
Funny Bee because he lives with the polar bears really high up north. So I don't know.
No, the ping in Sweden, when we were in Sweden in 2011, we were in just some hostel or whatever, and they had internet, and we joined like a server, and they had like 7 ping from. It was in Jonkoping as well. We had like 10 ping or 11 or 12 ping. I don't know, I can't even remember, but it was just ridiculously low to Stockholm from there, from like a hotel, which would probably usually have terrible internet. So it
Yeah.
was quite good.
It's really sick. I'm looking forward to testing it out when I get to DreamHack because I've got to go no matter what happens. I mean, look at the lineup of players; it's so good. I mean,
Yeah, good lineup.
I don't know how to predict the finals either because it's like you said before, it's impossible to make a prediction. So. I'm going to be crazy. I'm going to be crazy and say Faz Cypher finals. Put Faz in there. Why not? Faz is awesome. Either way, though, it's going to be absolutely incredible because we could have so many storylines. Like, I mean, I would just love to just sit down and write up all the storylines you've got going on here because not only do we have players from all around the globe, we have so many established storylines. What if Strengths makes it to the finals? I mean, that's not something that.
Well, there's a
we see
lot
all
of
the time.
players who
It's
could make the finals, I guess, and a lot of players who could do well. So it'll be a tough competition, which is good. It's obviously good. Like especially for someone like me going over there, you don't really want to go over there, and there's only like 2 or 3 players. So even if you do well, it's just like it's more like a hollow victory. Whereas if you do well now, it's like obviously you're pretty good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, this collection of players is not gonna. I mean, this is the kind of thing that motivates people as well. It's like you go there and there's like no excuse. It's just either you performed here or you didn't. And that's kind of what happens. I mean, I'd be really sad if Pony doesn't make it though. And I wonder how much Avik is going to be practicing for this because, I mean, he could have a really amazing tournament as well. But I guess the most interesting players for me are probably going to be. Probably gonna be you. I love. I want to see Bratala do really well as well. I would like to see Pony do well if he actually manages to go.
Who's that?
Bratala. He's like. He's.
Is that B Patella? That's what I call him.
B Patella.
Simple-minded.
B Patella. Yeah. Yeah. We called him many things before we worked out that it was actually Bratala. I think it means like brother in Russian or something.
Okay. Yeah.
Either way, there's so many cool players. I don't know. I just don't know. I just don't know. It's going to be awesome. Either way, I'm just going to remind people that we have some DreamHack related announcements coming out next week. And also, we got some Twitch subscription action going on. So check that out. We have some emoticons on the go in the near future. So keep your eyes peeled for all of that. And still we have this pause underway as Spart1e's trying to fix his connection. I guess it's possible that I guess someone is lagging him. I guess that's the only reason why it could be taking time for him not to just be like, okay guys, this is not fixing, because I guess that could be. I mean, sharing internet is the worst. That was like the worst thing about like when I was living at home last, just sharing internet. It's just
Yeah. Our internet's pretty good here actually. Dad has a pretty good plan, I think. But yeah, like no matter what the cam or mic, unless they're like downloading whatever it is, whether it be pornography or something, it's usually it's pretty good. Other than that, so if they're on YouTube, Facebook, Quake, doesn't affect it at all. So
yeah.
the actual ping's not very good though, because I mean obviously Australia's big, so there's limited servers. There's only really 2 servers, and there's one at New Zealand as well. But because we're from Western Australia, and we have to route to Perth first, so that's like an extra like 12 ping there or something like that more. So we have 50 ping to Adelaide, which is not great. It's playable, but it's not fun.
Yeah.
It's not exactly what I would call fun. It was better when there was Perth servers. We had like 10 ping. I think 17, 18 ping, 16 ping. But and then there's the Sydney, which we have 70 ping to, which is not. It's playable because I'm used to it, but it's not fun.
Yeah, so you're usually playing on what kind of pings normally when you're practicing?
50 and 70.
Okay, 50 to so it's kind of like an American kind of thing going on.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm not sure what they have, but yeah, I'm supposing it would be similar.
Yeah. It's gone down to 200 ping now from 300. Looking at Spart1e's ping here. Progress? Yeah. I don't know. I mean, like, it does seem to be pretty bad. So we may be going to
come back.
We may be going to a break at some point soon if this isn't fixing after a while, because we don't want to keep you guys here waiting forever, and we can probably grab another game if this isn't going to make any progress. So we'll be thinking about that.
What are the rules if Spart1e does come back and he's okay, but he has to quit the server? Will he just take a 2-0 lead or restart of the map?
I'm not actually clear on how the admins handle this, as I'm not an admin, but that's probably going to be something to do with the gist of it, like see how much time is left and give them the 2-0. That's usually like the easiest way to do it, because there is like the other way to do it where you literally, because I mean, if this was like a really big LAN or something with loads of prize money or something like that, you'd go, okay, let's recreate it exactly. And I mean, that's happened in the past, of course. There's been some kind of legendary moments in the past involving people like Strengths at IEMs and so on. So we don't go to that length on the Sunday Cups because it's just a Sunday Cup, but we do try to make it as far as we can. But we'll see what happens here. I'll just production. Should we go to a break? What should we do here? Break a new game. To see if I can get an answer from the production here, what would be the best thing to do, as we don't want to keep you guys waiting. So Fraze, what was the thing you're going to do when you get back to, when you get to England? Some kind of food, or was it?
Oh, I was going to have a Greg's steak bake.
A Greg's steak bake. Oh, okay, a Greg's. Oh, okay, yeah. I know what it is now. Okay. Yep. So guys, we're going to go to a quick break whilst you Google Greg's steak bake. And
it's pretty nice. Need some tomato sauce on it though, or else it's no good.
And we're going to jump to a game with Ash. So we'll be right back after this, and I'll keep you guys updated. So stay tuned. We'll see you right after this.